Hey everybody, can you hear me?
Yep.
So we have two mics up here, and we have 5 people that love talking. So we're gonna make this work as best as we possibly can. Everyone, welcome first to AwesomeCon. How you guys doing?
Woo!
So just in case you guys don't know if you're in the right spot or not, this is the AwesomeCon Awesome Filmmakers Making It Happen panel, the first time ever. So you guys, thank you for being here and making this thing happen. So first of all, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Joe Carabeo. I'm a filmmaker, director, writer, comic book creator. If you guys have seen the AwesomeCon commercials every year, I'm the guy who puts that together and directs that. So if you've been enjoying it or if you've been hating it, you can go ahead and blame me. It's okay. But today we have what I feel like is a really important panel to have here at AwesomeCon. And it's just a couple of years we didn't have any filmmaker panels, and I was like, this year we gotta have one. And we made it happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go to my right, introduce everyone, and hopefully I can pronounce their names properly. They're not very difficult. Actually, I'm going to start with my far right, Mr. Simon Kim, who is the, would you say the creative director of House Studio? Director, master?
Professional ninja.
Professional ninja of House Studio DC, voted continuously the best studio in DC. And also, you just got voted on the best, was it the best director of the, what was that, of the DMV?
Something like that.
Something like, be humble, it's fine. And to his left, Mr. Fernando Mico, is that right?
That's correct.
Fernando, and a really important thing is why, first of all, Fernando is an awesome director and actor, but he's also the guy putting together, and had put together, the Nova International Film Festival, another really important film festival and show that needs to happen. Thank you, sir. This is Fernando. And to his left, as you can tell, with his phone in his face, just like all of us before, cinematographer, his films are on Netflix, he's worked with James Cameron, he's an Emmy Award, are you still an Emmy Award winner, or are you taking that away now?
I'm taking it away.
You're taking it away. We're all humble up here. Mr. Kunitaro Ohi. No. I said I was gonna mess up. We'll just call him Kuni. We'll just call him Kuni. Kuni Ohi. Thank you, Kuni, for being here, sir. I know you're busy at this very moment.
Yes, my Grammy is gonna take so much time.
And to my right, one of my favorite people to ever work with. now I'm blushing. This is not gonna be a love fest. Not making that. But if you guys are fans of Journey, she was the woman in charge of making that movie happen. She's the producer of Journey's, what would you say? Every Man's Journey.
It's called Don't Stop Believing.
Don't Stop Believing. Every Man's Journey, seen throughout the whole entire world. And the film she's working on right now is No Town. Is that how you pronounce it? No Town. She is an amazing producer, director, even on-screen personality, I might say too. Capella Fahoome. All right. This is, to me, that's the scariest part. Like, even though these names seem easy, there's I always seem to mess it up any time. So, guys, if you guys have any questions, the best way to do it, since there's no line, whatever we're doing, just raise your hand. But in the meantime, see, it was a scam, guys. What I did was I wanted to get you all into one spot. And under the guise of this, awesome filmmakers panel, I'm actually here to steal your secrets. One by one, so to speak, and learn more about you. And that's what everyone here is here to find out, because what we have here is we have producer, cinematographer, director, just overall ninja. Look at this. And I felt like this is everyone has a piece that comes from a different direction. Everyone has something that all these people can learn different from. And really the first question, I know we only have 2 mics, the first question that I want to know is, what was the toughest lesson that you learned when you first decided, okay, I want to be in this film production business. I want to, let's do this for real. Not be one of those guys that are just like, one day I'm going to do this, but waking up and okay, we're making this happen. I'll start with Simon since you're part.
Thanks, Joe. I think one of the toughest things was
not letting any restrictions or resources or production value or any of that kind of stop you from making whatever it is that you want to create. You know, coming from a commercial background, you know, you're working with budgets and you condition yourself to think that, hey, I need this, I need to have that, I need this many people on set. And a lot of times, you know, a lot of these passion projects that you take on, you know, you're not really getting funded. You know, I don't know what these guys work on, but a lot of the projects that I enjoy the most are the ones that we just do for free or out of love. And the biggest hurdle for me was just saying, you know what, it doesn't matter if we have an iPhone or a 4K camera, you know, let's just do it and then let the content speak for itself, and from there you just grow. So that was kind of the first hurdle for me.
Where are you, Fernando?
Well, really, at some point, you just got to go, you're going to turn that corner and say, this is what I do. Because there are so many passion projects, which are great, but if it's going to be your career, it's what's going to pay the bills, you got to be both feet in and realize that this is what I'm going to do. And it's tough because whether it's a 48-hour project or you're right out of school, there's so many different ways you can go. And you know, the realities of life, especially in this area, it's not the easiest thing in the world to have a career in the film industry, especially again out here. It's not LA, New York, even Georgia. But it's always, for me anyway, there's a constant self-check to my, you know, I've only been in business 5 or 6 years now, but, you know, is this where I'm supposed to be? And again, at a certain point you turn the corner and you're both feet in, but there's always a challenge every set. There's, you know, because in the independent side of filmmaking, every movie is a one-off. So after you're done, it'll live with you for a little while, whether you're trying to get distribution or the film festival circuit. But it's not a series, it's not a 9-to-5 job. The challenge is, and kind of the cool thing is every time you finish a project, is it still where you want to be?
Which mic do you want to use? Oh, yeah, I know, seriously. Just give me all of it at the same time. You said the hardest thing about...
Yeah, what's the hardest, though, you know, the first lesson pretty much, the hardest thing you had to learn when you first started? Because were you always, I want to be a cinematographer, or you were like, I want to direct? Did you have to make a...
I mean, like, the hardest thing initially is just, like, making up a decision to actually do it, to be, you know, a production person, you know, whether it be a director, or a writer, filmmaker, blah, 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 or like a camera, you know, grip, or electrician. It's like you know, you set aside your personal whatever, and you set aside your, you know, wanting to make a certain amount of money or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You just kind of have to go ahead and just do it, which is I think that's the hardest thing we could possibly do, because then all the problems kind of start arising. It's like, you don't have enough time, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough, like, you know, people to work on shit, and it's like, it all comes from, you know, you just making a concerted effort to, you know, be a certain person, be a certain, you know, department head or whatever. So that's just been the hardest thing for me, and, you know, still is to a certain degree.
How about you, Capella?
I think the thing that I've learned is it never gets easy. Like, I've been in business for 22 years, and you would think, all right, well, when I get my first TV show on, then I'm getting to finish your first feature, then the second will be a break. It's never fucking easy, ever upon ever. And like Joe was saying, my last film was the Journey film. I mean, can't get much more mainstream than Journey, can't get much more international than a Filipino lead, can't get much more, you know, new age and technology than a YouTube discovery. I mean, it was like the Cinderella story with all the wonderful things mushed in one. We couldn't get funding for it. I mean, part of it was that we started in 2008 when everything crashed, so I'm not going to blame that first year, but just along the next 5 years, and we got it finished, got theatrical, it's killed DVD, it's all around, killed on Netflix, on the shelves of Walmart. So, right, the next one should be easy, right? I'm Capella. My film is on the shelves of Walmart. Like, what the? But no, the one I'm working on now, me and my dad are paying for, and he's a retired janitor from Detroit Public Schools. So that's like how it is. It's never easy.
So
Is that encouraging?
you brought up, you know, obvious question. When,
I fucking love that shit.
I do like
it's okay to curse. There's no who's young. No, yeah, it's fine. It's a filmmaking panel. This is, yeah, we're allowed to, if we don't curse, it's not edgy.
I'm
That's what it
very
is.
sorry.
But that's one thing, is like, okay, someone's obviously gonna ask this, hey, how do you get money for it? Is there, and my obvious answer is like, money just falls from the skies, just grab it. But have you guys, what have been your challenges, or are there ways that you found out, oh, I can easily just, make are there ways you can tell people, hey, this is a pathway, or let's start with you, Capella.
Okay, so the pathway is be kind, be very, very, very nice. And I say that because it's going to be easier to do collaborations and partnerships and get people, like Joe, who is a great vendor. Like I flew in this morning on a 5 a.m. flight to be on this panel because Joe would do anything for me. He's done anything for me, like he's dropped stuff and went up north Michigan and filmed personal stuff for me when I wanted my grandmother filmed. I mean, so just like make those kind of collaborations and friendships and be kind and always help people when you can. So that, aside from money, of course get money if you can, but make relationships happen.
How about you, Cody?
The secret to,
Or what would you say, like, let's see, what's one way of getting money for a project? And I don't mean a lot.
like are you talking from a perspective of like
Oh,
me as a cinematographer?
I mean you as a cinematographer, because usually as a cinematographer, I feel like you want to get more, right?
More money?
More money, that's not even the budget. Has there ever been a moment where you're like, we really need to get this, this super train? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I do work free, but only for like friends or passion projects or something that like I'm personally invested in. For the most part, though, it's like the more money, more rate I can get, then I'll do it. But you got to think about it in a really pragmatic point of view. It's like, as much as I would love to work on things that are insightful and emotional and compelling, sometimes you just got to take one up the ass. It's true.
Gross, man.
I mean, seriously.
Why do you have to take it up the ass?
How many times? A lot of times.
I'm falling flat on my face, but I'm not taking anything up the ass.
I mean, it's true. It's like, it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of just, having to endure things that you don't want to do to get to things you want to get to. And in terms of money-wise, it's as much as I would love to have, certain budgets for certain things, it's actually sometimes very liberating to not have money because you have less restrictions and less cooks in the kitchen kind of telling you what to do, unfortunately. The more I'm starting to get into this area where I'm starting to get a lot more budget for commercials and movies and TV shows, and that's great and everything, but it comes with 30, 40, 50 people above you all saying very different things at the same time. Now, I'm not discouraging people like to aim for the stars and work on a $3 million project or a $15 million project, but I am saying that as you kind of advance in your career, you will have to eventually start taking in stock that it's not all just a creative landscape of happiness and uncompromising vision. Sometimes you really do have to just kind of go like that and just do it.
What are you, Fernando?
Pretty much, the more things change, the more they stay the same. It's still the 3 Fs. It's at least in the independent world, and to an extent even the studio. It's the 3 Fs: friends, families, and fools. Or friends, family, and fools. That's
Friends, family, and fools. That's the first time I heard that.
and it's been the standard. Whether it's who did The Godfather? Coppola. Yeah, he was fresh off The Godfather, and yet when he put the script out there for Apocalypse Now, it was, well, I won't say it was turned out flat, but he had to mortgage out 2 of his homes to fund it. So it doesn't matter if you're at the top of your game in the studio world or in the independent world, unless you've got that sugar daddy investor. And in most cases, that's very rare. A part of being, at least on the independent side of filmmaker, you have to be as resourceful as possible. And that's just the name of the game. It's the ultimate entrepreneurship, as I mentioned before, because they're all one-offs. Ella mentioned earlier, she had this, went through Ashland four-walled, DVD sales, mainstream, on and on, next project. You'd hope, you'd think, and there's the possibility of the investor coming in, or a large money person, but far from any guarantee of it. And but money, pretty much every project is going to be a problem unless you have some project that you can self-fund. But then again, you're your own family fool at that point. But money will always be an issue.
All right, Simon.
With that said, fuck money. Fuck money. Money gets in the way of everything, the creative process and all that. And to be honest with you, what Capella said, she nailed it. It's all about relationships. If you're good to people, if you have a good vibe and energy, and you just don't think about money. The funny thing is, the less you think about money, the more money you get. I've realized that, like, your energy really attracts the things that you want. So if you're thinking about, oh man, I don't have money, where am I going to get this money? Where am I going to get this? It's never going to come. So forget it. Don't even think about it. Think about the story, the people. Who are you working with? Why are you doing this? And I've found in my experience, when I go into a project like that, money falls from the sky. It literally does. And even when you take it up the ass, sometimes you do. I don't want to say that because I know we're recording this, so off the record, yes, I have taken it up the ass many times. And that's because of money. It's always because of money. Money fucks shit up, and it ends up, the negativity and then the thought process and the whole idea of, oh, we don't have, it translates to your film, it translates to your commercial, whatever it is that you're doing. So best advice that I ever got from all of my mentors, don't think about money. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck.
I feel like this is, if there was a maximum amount of time we could use the word fuck.
Yeah.
And I know Jason used this in this, but I think we're going to probably top the amount of time he's used that, but it's okay. It's okay, because that's what I bring to Awesome Con is.
Are you challenging us to drop more F-bombs?
Journey on R rating because it said 3 times.
Journey on R rating because it said fuck 3 times.
You're too fucking short.
So we're way beyond that. Is there any questions about rating? Oh, wait, all right, Miss, you have a question. Try not to curse. No, yeah.
My name is Becky Gassel. I'll be making my first full-length film next year.
Awesome.
Yeah. You look like a ninja.
Huh?
You look like a ninja.
Right. Anyway, I've made like 8 or 10 short films, so this is my first full-length film that I'll be, and I have a producer and I have everything like that. I just want to see if you guys have any suggestions or anything like that. I'll be writing, directing, and editing myself. So I just want to see if you guys have any suggestions on how to make it happen.
What's the film about?
Can you sum it up in 2 sentences? You have to do a live pitch to all of us right now.
Yeah, what is your
I
long
always tell people it's like a mix between Clerks, Superbad, and Sex in the City.
So it's a female lead?
Oh yeah, it's the first female stoner duo movie.
Are you looking for any Asian cast members? Sign me up. You smoking real weed?
I will tell you that much.
Say what?
I need lots of men.
Hey, for real, sign me up.
So what do you mean? Like, because it feels like you're already, is it planned? You're already going to shoot it? Do you have a date? You don't have to tell us a
We're
date.
starting to shoot next year, yeah.
So what do you need to make it happen? You're making it happen then, right?
I do have a producer, yes, in mind, and she's from New York. She's worked in the industry many long times, and so.
I mean, okay, so here's the thing, you just need to know, like, straight up, like, what are specific questions, because this is like a really over-encroachingly, really large thing we can talk about for like an hour and a half, so.
That's, but I mean, like, how did you guys get successful? I guess I want to know how you could give me advice on how to make my film successful.
Okay.
I mean, like, have you planned out how many days are you going to do?
That's something I have to go over with my producer, because when she sees the final script right now, I'm a little over halfway done, but I know where I want to go.
Okay.
And she's like, finish it. She loves my script.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
loves my script.
So is she going to find you money?
Huh?
Is she going to find you money even?
She's gonna find the money, yeah.
Okay.
So she's the one that knows exactly what she wants to do with it. We're filming it in Virginia because it's supposed to be like Middle America setup. Because what I want to do is I want to change females' views of like, I don't want to do a girls thing. I don't want to do a Sex and the City thing. I want like everyday women. That's what I want to do. Is there's too many films out there where it's like, okay, every girl is not a size 2, and we don't drink Cosmos and watch fashion shows, okay? That's what I want to do.
Have you worked on a feature before though? Like, have you been a crew member on a feature?
I have not, but that my producer has.
See, this is the one thing I've always told people, at least when they're going from shorts to a feature length. It's like pretty much you're going from being a sprinter to a marathon runner. It's like if you think you're tired after doing a 2-day shoot, imagine like 6 days and a break, and then you're back at 7 days. No break on this one.
Wait, 6 days?
6 to 5 days? Yeah. Depending on how crazy you want to get.
Right.
That's the one thing I feel like is a lesson that we learned is that you're used to like when you're doing shorts, you go from cool, let's do a film a weekend, you know what I mean, to pretty much going away for a camp,
Yeah.
and you lose yourself and you lose contact with society, and that's the thing you should prepare yourself for. It's like yeah, making a feature, but it's also like now I'm gonna disappear for 3 weeks.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Does she know about how much she thinks she can raise for this? Like, is it like a 60,000 or like a 300,000?
I think she's looking at about 30,000. I already have somebody that's doing the music for free.
Gotcha.
That'll be very, very hard.
And I know
That'll be, I mean, seriously, that's $30,000 is a
Exactly.
really hard budget for a people.
Yeah.
Don't
I
listen
can
to
tell.
them. Fuck the money. Fuck the money. You have a purpose. You have a vision.
Yep.
You believe in it. Your producer believes in it. Don't let anybody stop you. 30K does not matter. You can stretch that. That's like $1 million this day and age with the technology, the resources, and the people. These people, again, I'm volunteering myself to smoke weed in your film. So let me know. They have very valid points. Money is very important, but you have it in your heart. Don't let anybody fucking tell you that you're not making this movie. And if you do that, that's all you need to do.
But it's cool that you get to see these perspectives because Kuni's on the technical side. You get the passionate ones. It's like as a director, you're going to hear all these thoughts.
Yep.
Everyone's going to come up to you, and there's going to be people that are just going to straight on ask you like, I don't think we can do this. It's your choice to be like, I think we can, or I think we can do a creative solution for it. So that's part of making it happen. It's like to me, at the end of the day, when you make a film, you have all these people, right? You have all these people working underneath you, all these crew, but the only person that's gonna be blamed for a bad film is you.
Exactly.
So,
I know.
so it's funny how
Okay, quick question. Does this producer have any credits
Oh,
that
yeah.
you appreciate?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the reason why I asked is we did a low-budget feature in Baltimore. Like everyone got paid $100 a day. $100 a day, super low budget, and it was still $250,000. And it was a scripted. We shot for like 22 days. Only thing I can say is we shot on film, so that you wouldn't do that. But they're expensive. But if you're a girl, if you trust her and she's got credits, and you're gonna write the script and you're gonna give her the rights and you're gonna tell her to raise it $30,000 and trust her to make it, I'm with you.
2 overarching themes. One was already mentioned, kill yourself on pre-production. So when she starts shooting, it's all follow through as much as possible. Having said that, just always keep in mind, from beginning to end, even when you're editing, constant problem solving. Constant problem solving. If you keep that, as long as you understand that's a component in the equation of the production, then you'll be all right. But if you see it as a negative, like, oh, I screwed up, something went wrong, and you don't look at it as a challenge, like a hungry challenge to go after, that's when things start, the creative, all that other stuff starts, it gets bogged down. I just look at everything like, the problem will come up. If I get nervous when a problem doesn't come up on set or whatever stage, just go at it, just go with the flow, best you can.
I would say 2 really pragmatic things. First of all, number one, whatever, story.
number one.
Yeah, I mean, the problem I see with a lot of scripts, especially indies, is they're always trying to model it after something that's very like a Clerks, or like basically a fucking, Jason Mewes, Jason Silent.
Studios tell you to do.
Yeah, that's what they do. But you're doing an indie, and when you're doing indie, you have to make it as idiosyncratic and as non-pandering as you can. And unfortunately, a lot of times people are always really trying to push something that's like easily digestible. And I hope that your script will have a very unique voice and will have a very truthful and honest voice. Because I do think that a lot of times people start going that route and end up something that's very derivative. And unfortunately, I've seen dozens of scripts that have well intentions, but ultimately really fall flat because of that. And B, I would say if you're working a $30,000 budget, that's great. Do it, you can make it, but just be realistic and be simple in your goals.
Yeah.
Don't try to, put some glitter on, whatever, and it just ends up being like really overcomplicated and messy looking,
And we've all worked on projects like that.
Yeah, I worked on so many projects where it's like you're stretching the budget and you're trying to make, like a $10,000 short look like, a $60,000 short. And it looks like a piece of shit because of that. And also, it just, it's just like, and then it just, also, what's that? I covered story, I covered budget and expectations, and let's say number 3. Oh, actors. Yeah, I mean, like that's what she wanted, right?
Yeah.
Like she wants to know, like, what would make her.
You don't have to stand for
better.
the whole point.
But number 3 would probably be like really good actors, like search all over. I worked on a feature, and the lead actress, they auditioned like 300 people to get that, because she had that certain quality and a certain kind of mood and delivery that really appealed to the story. And hopefully that if you're really going to go for it, find the best actors you can. Go from not just Nova, Virginia, Baltimore, go to New York, go to LA, go to, try to find someone from fucking Canada if you can. Just find whoever can deliver and be really, really good to that role. And I'm sure that, whatever sort of technical or financial kind of shortcomings you may have during the production, that having a person deliver good lines and really sell the emotion is going to really like put it a long way.
Don't stop believing.
The last thing, though, we'll let you go. She's like, do you want me to come up there with y'all? We had Jane Lynch in that low budget feature narrative that I just told you about in Baltimore, and she believed in this. Well, we got the script in front of a really, really good casting director. It sounds like your girl probably can. She's up in New York and she has some credits. And then the casting director was able to get it in front of people. And Jane Lynch, who, 40-year virgin and all that, she liked it. Glee, right. She liked it. And so she came on for, same thing, $100 a day, but points. And it was just a good time in her career. She was ready, and, you never know, it could have been a sideways. It wasn't. But it's still a very good movie. It's called I Do and I Don't. You can see it on Netflix.
Nice.
Okay, that's it.
Well, thank you guys.
But casting, yeah, very good.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes. Can't wait to see it.
We'll wait for the applause sometimes.
I have a question. How do each of you find your next job or your next project? I probably have kind of an idea about the director, but for someone like Kuni, a cinematographer, I have no idea how you go about finding your next job.
Go for it.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
My best friend, his girlfriend, I think.
Hey, that's
from a person that works kind of in a system, a really large, giant system of cogs and whatever, it is true. It's like I'm as much as I like to say I have like a certain amount of creative sort of push for a project, I'm ultimately below the line. So, in terms of getting a job, it's just being very good at your job initially and really kind of pushing yourself out there. I mean, at this day and age, you have like websites, you have Skype, you have web chats and all that kind of stuff. So it's not so much what it used to be about 10, 15 years ago, where people would have to move to LA or New York to get a job. I started off doing shorts and really low budget music videos for a few years, and then on the side time, I'd just be like doing camera op or like acing for like a project or something. And then eventually, people who are also in crew, who are like aspiring directors or aspiring filmmakers, they would always come up to me and ask if they wanted me to shoot their stuff for them. So that's how it happens, and then you kind of build up your reel, and then initially, you kind of really have to push yourself out there and say like, hey, I'm very good at my job. I'm very confident in my job. Please hire me. And somehow you're very lucky and you land your first feature, and you develop a cred, and then you start shooting another feature, and then that producer and or that filmmaker somehow, through the grapevine, recommends you for another job. And eventually it just kind of snowballs to a point where you don't really have to look too much for a job anymore. Like friends and acquaintances and people who are admirers of your work, I guess, would come up to you and ask you to shoot their stuff then. So that's how it usually happens. It's a very gradual process, but it happens.
I have a follow-up question to that as well. It's like, how'd you guys feel when you realized, hey, I actually have to put myself out there? Because there's a lot of like, I put this all, we're all artists. Sometimes they want to just do work and then hide. What was the first time you guys realized, hey, I actually have to talk to people, I have to network? What was the lessons you learned off of that? The relationships, what did you learn off of that? Simon.
Wow, you guys put me in the spot. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I've always been a people person, so I don't know. It came natural to me, anyways. Like building relationships and just it's all about enjoying your time doing it. And just your question, if you're moving, it just comes. I don't know. There's no like scientific formula or an equation to getting work. You just work, and when you work happens. And then you just meet people, and you meet people like Joe that you love working with, and then, I don't know, it's just a natural thing. There's no, I don't know. That was not as articulate as I wanted to be.
How about you, Capella?
Well, I'm a producer, so producers are a little different than directors. I don't like to be in a corner, I kind of like to be out there, but I actually got into this business because of the 5-foot rule. I was bartending, which, if anybody wants to know the best way to be a filmmaker, it's bartending on tables. It's not film school. It just teaches you like prioritizing and dealing with all kind of people, and being in the weeds and still getting it done, maintaining cool. But anyway, I use a 5-foot rule. Anyone within 5 feet, I let them know I was looking for a job. And then someone said, I do know somebody who's hiring, and give me your resume. And then I ended up going to the biggest production house in Baltimore at the time. It's called Flight 3, and any major movie that came to town went to Flight 3. And that's so I've always been a talker. So I never really want to be in a corner.
What about you, Fernando?
Again, it's just the basics. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. It's network. You have to put yourself out there and be good. I mean, if you had to solidify 2 things, again, network and be good at it, and you'll get out there. Being on the other side, as far as I'm more of an introverted private person. I really don't like putting myself out there per se. So I just do my own stuff. And at this point in my career, where I've produced a film festival, I can be in charge of my own productions, and I just do my own thing. I don't, being on the more of the filmmaker above the line and producer side, I can pick and choose what projects I'm going to do because they're mine, opposed to having to be, say, strictly a director or a cinematographer, where somewhat dependent on other people's production. I just go ahead and go for my own. But that's, the thing about all of us up here, there really is no blueprint on what gets done. I could guarantee if you looked at every one of our projects, there'd be similarities, but the path to get from point A to point B, it's an odyssey. So, yeah, that's it.
I saw a question.
I saw
several questions.
Yeah.
She had her hand up. Hold on. She's been waiting.
Well, this
Oh, you
was
have?
at the beginning, was kind of piggyback on hers, maybe like one thing that you, on your first body of work, with a feature, if it was like a music video or a short film, whatever, your piece of work, something that snuck up on you, something that you didn't plan on, and that you learned that lesson that first time, and you made sure you planned that every time that was
I have an answer.
I think Capella has an answer. Hold on. Let's do it.
I kind of got thrown into the producer role. I never worked my way up the ranks. I just kind of started producing for low budget stuff and then just called myself a producer. And so I got called by this guy who wanted to do a music video, and I didn't know him from Adam, but I was like, okay. And so I automatically become this guy's producer. And when I started to call around and try to crew it, this guy's name was mud. Like they were like, I want to say it, but I shouldn't say it. They're like, so-and-so? No, he owes me more money than God. Like, that's the kind of stuff I heard. And so here I am, first kind of out in Baltimore, and my name's affiliated with this guy. So do your research, bro, before you start collaborating.
What was the question?
Yeah, it was
Something that you learned on your first piece of work that you definitely
Oh, yeah, okay. I wasn't saying your answer was wrong, I was just confused. I didn't know.
I'll say this, like, no, I know that there's, a rule of thumb is to do pre-production and really prepare for a project, but always know the shit is always going to hit the fan whenever.
Murphy's Law.
All the time. There's no 100% on anything. So, you have to be flexible and you have to be creative and you have to be really, cognizant of the things that are around you. And I think that you'll be able to kind of not, 100%, remain unscathed, but at least you'll be able to kind of skirt around it enough so that you'll be able to go through the rest of production without just crying. I've seen so many first-time directors cry on set. I mean, whether or not if they're, it's not so much like, it's a lot of stress, and it's a lot of ambition, and it's a lot of expectation, and a loss of that expectation, and that's very heartbreaking, and especially, and I've seen that for film directors who are so incredibly sensitive and insightful and really creative in their field. And the more you have within you to kind of really push the boundaries and really make something that's worth meaningful, yeah, it really does kind of take a toll on you. But, good luck, whatever it is you're working on.
I've had directors I've worked with who couldn't do like a planned shot. Like, but it's my vision. I was like,
I would say first-time directors, surround yourself with experienced people. So first-time director, first-time DP, no. Work with a DP and an AD, and ideally a producer that's done it before, so they can kind of protect you from looking like an ass.
Embrace the chaos.
pretty much.
Yeah, and some of the best moments happen by accident, in my opinion. Things that you could never plan for. You're surrounding yourself with talented, experienced people. Magic's just going to happen on set. And things that you thought were going to happen, it's going to change. So just embrace it, love it all. Don't cry. And all credibility, you lose all credibility because also the director is really the lead. Everybody's counting on you for answers and decisions and to be the one that, somewhat cool, I guess, they could also be crazy and yell and scream and all that, but really composure and then just knowing that shit's gonna go wrong.
Right.
Just because you guys keep saying director, this is gonna be a tag-along thing. What's your kind of, or like a tag onto the question, maybe like, what's your, I guess, view on director / cinematographer? Like
Steven
especially as
Soderbergh?
you, yeah.
Can I answer that? Question, like director / cinematographer for what, any sort of project?
And you were, just like your pet. Or more like you
So
kind of
they're
split
the
those.
director and DP.
I would say for the most part, like Steven Soderbergh, he's great at both. But I do think that when he's just a DP, he really shines. And when he's a director, he really shines.
Rodriguez does it too.
Rodriguez, well, let's not talk about him. I'm sorry, his stuff is. But like, I saw Spy Kids #1 and Spy Kids #3. There's a drop off in quality on both accounts because of that shit.
Yeah, but those are the highest grossing movies of all.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, money doesn't mean anything. So, I would say
He's
this.
a little jaded by the industry.
I am jaded.
Take that up the ass one too many times.
I've kissed a lot of frogs before I met like a prince or some shit like that.
Sci-fi speed dating?
Yeah. But like director / cinematographer, you have to be on point with both, and you have to be, you have to really work at being both, and not just being a director / cinematographer, but you have to also, maybe you should probably go on set and be just a cinematographer. You should go on set just as director, so that we can really strengthen those two things. I would say like a really good example is Jeremy Saulnier, who just did Blue Ruin, fantastic movie, shot for $300,000 for about 33 days. He cashed in his wife's 401k. to finance the movie. But I mean, he got bought by Radius, and he just recently did a movie called The Green Room, and has Patrick Stewart in it, and it's it's supposed to be really fantastic. But anyways, even in that kind of capacity, he decided to let go of his reign as a director/cinematographer and just be a director at it. So, I mean, if by necessity, if you feel like you have to be a director and a cinematographer, just because you want to kind of correlate both your visions together, that's great, that's fine. But just be really cognizant of the fact that you need to be on point with both things. And you have to be mindful, and you have to put your concentration on both things. But if you can't do that, then you really should reevaluate which path you want to take. Like, do you like vision because the way it looks and the way it kind of helps the characters and all that kind of stuff? Do you like working with actors more? What is it what really drives your passion to be a director/cinematographer? And you need to kind of take in consideration, it's like, okay, maybe that is this way, maybe it's that way. And, you know, I will say also that unless if you really hit a project out of the park, more than likely you have to kind of choose between one of the two. So it's just really, really hard to be director/cinematographer.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if it works, it works. I mean, I've had to do multiple jobs, especially first projects. And I'm going to steal from Kevin Smith, going back to the earlier question. As a director, always have an answer. It may be the right answer, it may be the wrong answer, but you have to have the answer, because as soon as you go, I don't know, you start looking, well, what should I do? You look weak, you're going to lose your people. Make sure you go out, again, it may be the biggest mistake, but again, sometimes the biggest mistakes on set tend to be the memorable moments in the movie, but just be prepared for when the poop, I'll be the clean one here. When stuff goes wrong, an actor drops out, you lose a location, you don't have the AA batteries for your camera in the middle of the desert, 7-Eleven's 20 miles away, you gotta be resourceful, but just, back to what I said, just be ready for something to go wrong. But yeah, but just stay cool, just be resourceful, that's your job, just be resourceful, always have an answer.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about like the production and the pre-production and everything, and I just did like my first short film, and I've got a question, especially for the producer. How do you go about getting out into the junket and putting stuff out there after you're done?
So I think we should do like speed answering questions also, since there's like a lot of questions. But really that film festival is kind of a fucking racket, because when I learned that when I did Don't Stop Believing, and really we were invited to these big film festivals. Submitting, I don't think you even get looked at. You should ideally attach your name. If you have a film you're finished. There's like the website's called Out of the Box or whatever, what is it?
Without a Box?
Without a Box. But if you can shop around to it, like maybe look at what kind of genre it is, and say it's a documentary about a Filipino person, I don't know. Then you might call Ramona Diaz in Baltimore and say, hey, would you look at my short? Would you consider attaching your name as an EP? And then that's an EP that they recognize, these film festivals. But it is hard, so don't get frustrated. It's hard, but keep doing it. But it's not just you, it's very hard.
As a film festival director, I look at every single film. It doesn't matter your name, if there's magic and quality to it. It works both ways. Due diligence, you need to research the festivals, look at their history, look what they accept, what they don't accept, are they legit, have they been around a while, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Question though, is your project something that you feel like you really worked hard on it and you won't get a chance to make another one?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like you put your heart and soul into it.
Me and my friend did it. Everybody was volunteers. I did it. I'm in television production school, so I used those people to do it. So I just basically paid for food. So it was really, yeah, it was just I wanted to tell this story and put it out there.
I mean, logically, just submitted festivals from the highest all the way down. I mean, like just be realistic about like.
Right.
Take a look at the project and say like, okay, this is pretty good for maybe a regional festival or like a local festival, and then apply for that.
Right.
And if you can't get into that, then I would recommend just putting it online.
Okay.
Yeah, are you trying to make money off of it, or you just want to tell a story?
I just want to put it out there.
Yeah, no, not YouTube, at least Vimeo.
DP, sorry.
problem is that
Yeah.
YouTube, unfortunately, it's just like a mind. It's just so oversaturated. At least with Vimeo, you're at least trying to put an air of a little bit of more sophistication.
Put it on there.
Do you
Just
have
cover all your
a Facebook or
bases.
anything? Like, is it out now? Can we look at it now?
Because some of the film festivals don't like it online, I have it online, but it's like private, but I could share it,
No,
yeah.
but you have like a website. You have like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Facebook page,
yeah. I have a
all that
DVD
stuff.
and everything, yeah. So-
Yeah, I would say like, if you can't, just wait a couple more months, get all the rejections. If you can't get into anything, just put it online and
Okay.
really push people to see it.
What's the next question?
Actually, real quick, I'm going to put myself out there because it looks like there are a lot of questions. We have like 15 minutes. I'll stick around later if anybody wants filmmaker, producer type questions, if I can help. Let's put that out.
Oh, yeah, that's one
This
person.
with the red hair glasses.
I'm still a student at a college that doesn't have a photography class, let alone a film program. So most of my projects are like trailers for plays on the weekends and like promos for clubs and like maybe a music video for an a cappella group. But what I'm saying is a lot of my things are on the weekends with people who don't necessarily want to be there or know really what's happening. So, and I can't imagine that goes away. So how do you deal with that, both like dealing with actors and like other people on your production teams that just kind of like don't really like fit like your vision or your passion or like don't really want to be there at all?
Find new people.
Yeah,
That's the only-
unfortunately, it's not. Can you go to a different place? Can you go to a different location? Can you go meet a different group of people? I mean,
Because usually that
Motivate them in different ways?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just unfortunately like you're in a really tough spot because you can't like psychologically tell people you can't like trick them into people. I mean, at the end of the day, the best things in terms of volunteer crew, the only thing that you can get them there is through their passion and their strive to make it better work.
You get at least one person that.
It's gonna come from you too. If you're the one that wants to make it happen, it's your responsibility to make them believe in you to the point where they're like, okay, what do you want us to do?
It's hard.
And it's hard. You're gonna develop that. You're young. You're just getting into it. You're gonna be frustrated, but as you continue to do it, you'll learn how to Jedi mind trick people into doing what you want to do. And that's where the most successful producers and filmmakers, it's a people business. Again, like, at the end of the day, they're gonna want to fuck with you or not fuck with you, and your job is to make them fuck with you.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
You serve with the backpack next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way I can do it.
I was just wondering if a lot of your earlier projects were local, because I just got back from Cannes Film Festival, and a lot of my networks were from like LA and New York. Like, it's really great, but I was just wondering if there's any, I'm really looking for networks around this area.
Yeah, we're all local. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Like, for your earlier projects when you guys started out, was it around here? Did you guys have to go out west? Or
No.
Wow, that sounds like the Oregon Trail.
I mean, I did a lot of local projects, but like I also stayed a lot. I went to school in Richmond, and it's a very thriving production community with a lot of commercial work, a lot of independent work. I mean, there's some, there's a lot of goobers out there, but for the most part, there's a lot of good production people down in Richmond, and that allowed me to kind of get in touch and network and stuff. So, but I think it's, I would say like even here, I would recommend the DC, right? DC area. Yeah, you're gonna find some good production things here. I mean, not be your cup of tea, but at least you get. And then, but I would recommend Richmond, and those two are probably the best places you can get, at least in the Virginia area, and Baltimore too.
I did have to go out west myself, actually.
All right, you serve with the.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. Yeah, you.
I'm really normal. Okay.
Normal guy.
Yeah. One thing that a professor of mine told me in college, it was a producing professor, said, and it seems to be corroborated by a lot of what you're saying here, is that it's really, really hard to get a film done. But once you have a project done or something done, then everyone's always going to be more willing to work with you. So like the snowball effect that we keep on talking about. But I'm just wondering, it is hard to get projects done. I've done projects and it's hard, but I'm just wondering if there's any I don't think there's a magic bullet or anything that'll get your project done, but
You're the magic bullet.
You are the man.
There's no shortcuts.
There's no shortcuts.
Seriously, there's no shortcuts.
I feel like, I think the best thing to do is to get into the rhythm of finishing projects.
No, but like, what were we gonna say? You had like a second part.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say that I know there is work here in the area, but getting one's name out there has been challenging. I'm only a year out of school.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I know it takes a while, but I was just wondering if there were any like words people like to hear from aspiring filmmakers.
Yeah, like your name and your phone. Seriously.
Work on a crew. What do you want to work on? G&E, camera department, PA?
I've done like a little of everything.
I would like to know how many people in this crowd like work on films or are also on crew. Now everyone look around. Those people could possibly work with you on film. So, you know.
And you guys are within the area?
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah.
Hey, there you go, done.
All right, Miss with the glasses.
Thank you.
Oh, you don't have to stand, but you can.
My friend and I, we're currently in the process of trying to start learning, like, making our own stuff. We're currently working on doing, like critiquing videos. But what we want to do is, like, use that to kind of, we've been reading a lot about techniques, how to do them, and stuff like that. We want to use that to kind of perfect them so that when we can eventually get into, like, making shorts and, like, feature-length films. But, like you guys said, a lot of it's going to be self-funded. So like for like the equipment, like green screens or like at least like lighting and stuff like that, where would be good places to kind of shop for that for people who have to kind of rely on their own budget?
E&H. No, but I would say you have to kind of like pick and choose. Like there's a whole bunch of tutorials out there on YouTube or whatever, and then they have videos like DIY, $15 for a green screen, or like what's this $200 video camera will do right by you or something. But there is no one place that's gonna. Like if you go to like Film Tools, you can get all the stuff you want, but they're gonna charge an arm and a leg.
I think you gotta start putting yourself out there and working for free. Like, if I were you, I would come up to this panel afterwards and say, my name's Alyssa, and I can work for any of you guys for free. You do that a couple times, couple months, couple years, and then you could come to any of us for favors. I just really feel like that's the best way to go about it.
But the thing is that she wants to do like you want to do like a self-perpetuating kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and we want to we want to get our techniques to be more perfected before we start putting our name out there, so that when the work we give.
Don't worry about that. Yeah. Don't worry about that. There's no such thing as perfect.
But actually, if you really want to like learn about I would say just try to get on a PA job or like on a crew job or something, because they really will help you. From a pragmatic, purely technical standpoint, it really will push you to kind of like, oh, why is he doing this or why is she doing that, and it kind of gets your mind thinking. You might be able to get a lot of lessons out of there.
So, I have no idea what your cosplay is.
Hawkeye from
Oh, I see. Yeah. All right.
my question, my first film is screening actually in 45 minutes here.
Sweet. What is it?
Thank
What is it?
you.
Let me know.
Dark Awakening.
Ah, nice.
And I'm writing the sequel now. I wanted to know what things did you learn from the first film going to the second film to improve, make the second film better, since it's also going to be a sequel. So I want to avoid any pitfalls sequels sometimes have, but I also want to take good things into it so I know how to improve my filmmaking process.
Fernando?
Don't get lazy. You will learn, really, it doesn't matter if you did if it's a sequel, it's great, but if it's a totally brand new, it's about kittens and rainbows, totally a departure from what you did. Just be as original as possible. Don't think of it as a one-off, like, say, the Star Wars series in general. Each one of those can be a movie all into itself. Don't think that the audience already knows what's going to be happening next. Keep all the principles and the foundations the same as far as the storyline goes. The technical stuff, once bitten, twice shy, don't make the same, make sure you're putting the camera the same way, the lighting, all the technical stuff, obviously. Their personal side, working with people, know what the strengths and weaknesses of your DP or your PAs, know who really worked well for you. The network, you can make friends here, bring people on board. Again, every every production, there's something to be learned. So it's a tough call, again, we weren't on your set, but just stay original and stay true to storytelling. Really cut it to the bone, get your story out there, and I mean, that's, again, I'm stealing from other, mentors, directors I've heard from, but.
There's no stealing in filmmaking.
Go into it as if you didn't make the first movie.
Yeah, make it original.
Look at it as it's the first time you're making this movie. Yeah. Just start fresh. Because, you learn and you make mistakes, but if you focus on that, you're going to carry those mistakes over. It's habit, and you're running, and it's chaotic, and you're going to fall into the same habits and mistakes that you made the first time. So just pretend that first movie doesn't exist, and you're making a new movie. Sequel.
Stay with your fundamentals.
All the way in the back.
How old are you, man? Yes. He's a 12-year-old filmmaker. He's dropped F-bombs before.
So working in the low budget, what's the advice for working in the zero budget? That's the question?
Oh, can I answer that question?
What? You want to come up here and answer that? No.
Oh no, you're here?
Oh, ask for things for your birthday.
Ask for
Like,
things
what
for
do
your
you need?
birthday.
Ask for, people will help you. So if you're real serious, I will buy you something.
I don't know if we can beat that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're 12. Let me use that leverage, man.
Right.
You probably stand at the door and everybody give you $5.
Do you have a camera?
Yeah, I got DSLR.
Which model? Yeah, you're good to go.
You're good to go.
When you're 12 and you're making a movie, just go ahead and do whatever the hell you want. Make all the terrible mistakes you can. Worst sound, worst acting. You can make all the mistakes. It doesn't matter. Just make it until you can't stop.
Just like your love life.
That's a good lesson. That's a 12-year-old.
All right, another question. You, sir, right there.
Okay, cool. I started off doing like a lot of movie reviews. I've done a couple shorts, and I've got 2 projects I'm working on, and I'm kind of like the last in of one, but the problem is my sound director, the person who's going to be doing my score, just dropped out. And it's kind of the same thing that y'all were talking about, like hurdles, you know what I'm saying? And then now I'm dealing with somebody that was working on the special effects work. Like I do a lot of video editing myself, but now I've got to go and relearn the perfection of After Effects. And so it's like now I got 2 hurdles going on with that project. The other one, I haven't even filmed anything. I've just been working on the concept of the script. And the problem is the script is so much that I'm kind of delving in. I'm debating trying to do a book first as opposed to going in and shooting anything. And I don't know if that's the best idea or not. Just go ahead and really taking the script and doing the best I can with it and just go ahead and starting the filming process, or really trying to develop it really into a book.
So you're like, I want to make a
so I got 2 different problems going on.
You're thinking of making a property that people can be like, oh look, make this into a movie.
Yes.
What is you're saying? Is
That's the second problem. That's the second project.
Oh.
The first project was really I just have people backing out, and I need to figure out whether I need to kind of put up or shut up, or what do I need to do at this point. You know.
You're doing it. That's it.
Get it
There's
done,
no
man.
thing.
Just go ahead and
Just do it. Just embrace the problem. Yeah, learn After Effects if you have to. If you can't find a good After Effects.
Pretty much.
Actually, can I say something? Because I just had the same problem. Our VFX person dropped out. We had to both learn how to do everything and finish the film. He
Yeah.
dropped out a month before we were due to be finished because he hadn't done anything really. So we just got in. We delayed the film a few months. We learned After Effects, and actually we did a lot more than we even asked him to do because we just picked it up.
yeah, and you're probably future-proofing yourself because you're learning yourself when somebody else backs up.
That's one, right?
In the camouflage, since I couldn't see you the whole time. You're the last question.
All right, I know this is Filmmakers, but I'm an aspiring actor. I want to change the world, and I know I'm going to connect with everyone here afterwards at the blue screen, but I want to see if you guys had any websites or anything. I haven't even, I want to know how to get into your films or anyone else's films.
Well, that's a perfect segue to what we were going to do at the end of the panel. Pretty much, I mean, you're asking how to get in contact with us? What's the best way to do that?
With you guys, with the cast and directors you guys get, whatever.
Well, I guess
I will be happy to tell you and everyone else, if you guys go to my website of my current film, it's NoTown, and like Motown, but NoTownthemovie.com. and watch my trailer, like us on Facebook and Twitter, and then leave your information on the Contact Us page, and just put a note of where we met, and I'll definitely give you all the casting agents that I like and trust, and all that. And then everyone else, please like and follow, go tell them the movie.
So let's just end it with how can we find everyone's work? Oh,
No, that was it.
she just did.
That was it, that was good.
Oh, really? That's
Yes, real simple.
Yeah.
GoTellTheMovie.com.
Yeah, just type in www.kunitarohi.com. Isn't that a website there? It's Kunitaro Ohi, my full name.com. And
Is it your full name.com too? Is that it?
Hey Simon, chill out, man. KUNITAROOHI.com. And if you have any technical questions or anything like that, I'll be more than happy to answer for you. But I might be, a little bit late to it. So, but anyways, thank you.
And how can we find you, sir?
Probably through my film festival website, novafilmfest.com, NOVAfilmfest.com. I have a short I'm finishing up right now. I probably won't do my next project with a feature, but I'm going to have to put it off till next year. The whole film festival thing is pretty much eclipsed any other work I have to get done. So if you want to get hold of me, I'm open to anything. I used to teach film also for 5 years, so if there are any other questions that weren't covered here, I'm more than happy to share and help anybody out in the area.
How about you, Simon?
House Studio, HouseStudioDC.com. That's our home, our hub. And $5musicvideo.com is our independent distribution platform. And for any students or people who are interested in learning anything across the board regarding production, I'd like to meet you because we're growing our team now as far as ninjas on camera talent, people who just want to create and meet other people who are in the same situation. So any of you guys interested in meeting some of my ninjas and kind of getting your foot in the door, we can exchange contact information later and do all that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Do I do voiceover work? Do I have it? Nice, yeah.
And my name is
looking for voiceovers.
My name is Joe Carabeo. You can find me at joecarabeo.com. This is the best way is JoeCarabeo. Or also, I have my short films on oneshots.com, one-shots.com. And I'd like to thank you guys. This has been an awesome panel. You guys have been amazing. Everyone here will be dispersed and you guys can talk to them for as long as you feel like, but this has been great. I had a blast. We have like the record for the most F-bombs. Yeah. So thank you guys. We'll see you all later.